Hello, and welcome to the Authentically Elisa podcast, Unmasking Your True Self. I'm Elisa Bogarts, your guide on this journey to discovering the most genuine version of yourself. Each episode is a step towards unveiling the incredible power that lies within you as we strip away all the shoulds and shine a light on the coulds. Together, we'll explore the path of self-empowerment, self-confidence, and the courage to be unapologetically you. Thank you for being here. You have the power to reinvent yourself, to live the life you desire. It is your choice. And this is what we're going to be talking about today in today's episode with Lori McDowell. Dr. Lori McDowell is the founder and CEO of Reimagine Youth Strategies. She's the author of the Reinvention Mindset. It is a highly anticipated book that's coming out May 2024. Lori is passionate about helping individuals find joy in the world and live the life that they desire. She provides training, inspirational speaking, and coaching to help individuals get past any roadblocks and find fulfillment in their careers and their life. Lori is also committed to working with nonprofits and supporting diversity, equity, and inclusivity initiatives. Love and caring are the cornerstones of Lori's business. Welcome, Lori. I'm so excited that you're here.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, me too. Lori and I have been sort of known each other probably for over about a year now. And we've been on like summits together and work together. So I'm just so excited to have you as a guest on my podcast. So tell us about how you got into this field of work and just why you're so passionate about it.
Sure. Well, the way I got into this work didn't really start out in a great fashion, but it ended up in a great way. So I'm a chemical engineer by degree, and I was working in corporate America. And I had been at my job for about 11 years, and I was doing really well. I was a director. I was the face of the company at conferences, and my boss retired and a new guy came in and things didn't go so well, but I figured, okay, I can handle it. I've been here forever. I've had numerous bosses. And one day we had a sales meeting. It was a 2-day meeting, which was about in a town about 4 hours away from my house. So we were supposed to meet. I was supposed to meet my boss at 4:30 that afternoon. So I left around noon to drive to the meeting. And when I got to the hotel said, "I'm sorry, your room has been canceled." So must be some mistake, reinstate my room. So I went to meet with my boss at 4:30 before we started the meeting. And when I went in to meet with my boss, his phone was sitting on the table and there was another vice president in the room. And they told me, the HR person said, "This is Angie in HR and we're terminating you. You'll be paid until the end of the day. So turn in your laptop and your company credit card and go home." And I
What?
was, yes, I know. I was like, "You made me drive 4 hours to fire me? Like, who does that?"
Right.
I mean, you couldn't have done this before I drove here. And now it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon and I have to drive home. So
Oh
my
man.
emotions were a mess. I mean, I was terrified of like, what am I going to do? They're paying me till the end of the day and then they're going to give me my vacation. So I've got, 3 weeks left of salary. And I was angry because I just drove 4 hours and they were just so disrespectful. They embarrassed me because people saw me at the hotel. I was supposed to give a talk at the meeting, and suddenly all my coworkers would be gossiping, like, "Where's Lori? Why isn't she here?" So it was just really, I just didn't understand why, after being there for 11 years, they were treating me this way.
Mm.
And I started the drive home. And like I said, I was a mess. I probably shouldn't have been driving. My mind was going crazy. I was angry. I felt like I was going to be sick. I called some people and called my husband, called my son. I was like, I was in shock. And it was a long drive because it was now rush hour. And when I got about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours into the drive, suddenly the thought popped into my head. And it was like, I don't have to go to work tomorrow. And it was like, I don't have to go to work tomorrow. And I was so happy and excited. And and it wasn't an instant change, but I realized at that moment that I am doing something that I didn't want to do. I wasn't happy. I was doing it because I needed the money and society expected me to, and it was what was expected. And I suddenly realized I don't have to do this. I have a choice. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning I have a complete choice what I want to do. And that really
Yeah.
started me on this whole adventure where I said, I always wanted to write a book, but I never had time. And suddenly I woke up the next day and I said, I have time. I'm going to write a book. And after writing the book, the book just really came to me from what was inside of me, from my experiences, from my intuition, from people I knew. And as I started writing the book and sharing what it was about, I realized there were so many people that were in a similar position to where I used to be. And I wanted to share it with them. You don't have to do that. You can live a life where you're happy, where you're joyful, where you're choosing what you want to do. And I kind of put together a process and a plan and some tips and such on how to do that. So that's where I got started. And I'm passionate about it because there are so many people that after hearing me speak or learning about my book said, oh my God, I need that, or oh, I was in that situation. So I realized there's a real need for it.
There absolutely is. It is so true that so many people get put in situations like that where they're just sort of blindsided and all of a sudden they're out of work. I think it happened a ton through COVID and just like and even after COVID, right? When especially in some industries that totally sort of swelled up during COVID and then realized, after the COVID bubble, they kind of had to shrink down and there's all these layoffs and they just aren't happy or all of a sudden they're just out of work. And I love that you were able to like almost immediately like realize your situation was like actually I wasn't even really that happy because there's sort of like a whole thing that goes on, right? It's like a bit of an ego sort of shock to the system and like you feel sort of rejected, but then you also realize, well, I didn't even want this in the first place. I love that.
Yes, yeah. And that's what I kind of started thinking about this like, okay, I can really help people who have been laid off or people who have been fired. But then I realized there are so many more people even that, okay, they haven't been fired or laid off or lost a job, but they're working in a job or they're running a business and they're just miserable. Like they don't they're not, they're not miserable like, oh my God, I'm going to quit miserable, but they're just going through the motions. They feel like they've worked so hard, but they're not fulfilled. I like to say they have
Mhm.
success on paper, but inside in their heart and their soul, they're not successful. They're empty. And so
Yeah.
why wait till something terrible happens? You have the power to take charge of your life before that so you don't get fired. You can make the choice to.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you do have the power to make your life the way that you want it to make and do what you want to do in your career. And I agree. So many people, just go, it's sort of just that the day by day, right? The daily grind is sort of the same thing day in, day out. And it can be just sort of soul sucking. I like how you said that too about success, right? Like, like what is that definition of success? And it could be like you, right? Right. You're in this director role, you're in longevity with this company and
Um,
loyalty and all that, but inside being empty. And so I really think that, yeah, as a society that we need to start reframing that. What is success? What does it mean? Is it really just, like what was before was getting a job, working your way up the ladder, having a family, having kids, having the home, the car, like all those things, and then you were considered successful, but that doesn't necessarily equal happiness.
exactly. Yes. Yeah. We have to, we all live by what society says we're going to be, but success is very personal and it's different for every person. And even if success to you is having the good job and the nice house and the 2.5 kids and the car, you have to like make that decision and make that your choice. Don't just assume it is. Like think about it and figure out, is this really what you want? And you may say, yes, this is really what you want, but at least then it's your choice. It's not just what you think you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That's the difference. And that's all about authentic living, right? So actually thinking and making that choice and be like, okay, authentically is me. How do I want to live authentically? What does that look like for my life? What is success for my life and coming from it from that place of authenticity? So tell me what does authenticity mean to you when you think about that word in your life and living authentically?
Yeah, when I think of the word authenticity, I mean, it really means being true to, to who you are on the inside. And sometimes you don't even know. You have to really look into it and discover like, who am I? What's my why? What do I really want? Because I think a lot of times we don't dive deep and we don't dive deep enough to know, and we kind of we're embarrassed about it because maybe who you want to be is not what you feel like you should be. But authenticity is to really look inside yourself and look at, what are you passionate about? What are you excited about? If time and money and everything were no option, what would you want to do? And trying to live your life as close to that as possible, within the constraints that you have. But because it's really being, true to who you are. If you're someone who loves purple, there's no reason that you have to go to a conference and wear black or navy. You can wear purple. That's your, and I think so many of us conform to what's expected of us and not don't look at who we truly are. I know I did. One of the things I did when I started my own business was I got my colors done. And I realized that when I started working, I used to wear the colors that fit me, my personality and my true colors. And over time, I weave those bright colors and out of my wardrobe. And I was wearing, everything I owned was black and gray and brown and blue. And it's like, okay. And now I'm like, I got rid of all my black, most of my black clothes, and I wear the colors that really light me up. And I feel like I'm much more authentic to the true me.
Yeah. I love that when you said that about clothing too. Like, I remember once I had a friend come visit me and she was going to borrow something. So she was looking in my closet and she's like, wow, like you need some color in here. It's basically just like black and white and cream. It was like on my entire closet. And it's funny, man, when you think about that, like I've had those too, where these interesting, like sort of judgmental insecurity moments where like if I wanted to wear something pink and being like, "Oh, no, but that's too girly, and I'm not a girly girl, so I can't wear pink," and it was like, "What? But I like that color, and it
Love
actually looks
pink.
all right on me, so why am I, like, telling myself that it doesn't suit this persona, or what will people say?" It was like this I felt insecure about how I might get judged by wearing this color, and it was like, "But I like it, so I'm just gonna buy it. I'm just gonna do that for me," and yeah, just kinda not care, right?
Yes, yeah. One of my coaches told me he said that what other people think about you is none of your business. And I was like, I really like that. It is none of my business. I don't care that's their business, what they think about me. I need to figure out what I think about myself. And if I think I want to wear pink or purple or polka dots, that's me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what we were saying earlier too, actually, so for our listeners, make sure you come back next week and listen to the next episode because I'm going to be talking about exactly what Lori was just saying, her sort of what authenticity means to her about finding the true you. And so we're going to be doing a whole sort of kind of coaching exercising about finding that true you and looking at your values and who you are today and how you can start to live authentically. So definitely come back for the next episode. Yeah, so Lori, let's dive into your work and that you do and that how that we have the power ourselves and it's our choice to reinvent ourselves and live the life that we desire. So can you give us, talk to us a little bit more about that and give us like a tip or two about how you can live the life you desire?
Sure. Yes. I mean, I truly believe that we all have everything we need inside of us and that we're all exactly where we're meant to be at that moment. And that when we decide, what we want to do, we have the power to do that and we can make that choice. And it may take some hard work, but we can be, we can create the reality we want. And I think part of, some of the tips, the first thing is you need to believe. You need to believe in the possibilities, and because if you don't believe it's not going to happen. And if you don't believe something amazing is there for you, the ability to believe it is the ability to get it. So one tip is just really, look what you want and set your goals there and then truly believe it. Make sure you understand that you have that inside of you and that you are capable, and no matter who you are, you have it. We're all such amazing, created as such amazing beings. We have so much more inside of us that we don't access. And then
Hmm.
another tip is just, we all have fears, and that, fear is an illusion. Fear is kind of meant to be a temporary thing, a warning sign, just like, you put your hand on a hot stove and you feel hot and you remove it. And that's really what our fears are supposed to be. When we fear something, it's supposed to say, okay, there's a warning. What do I do to get over it and face it and get by it? And so many times, instead of doing that, we get stuck in those fears and we let them control our life. So you need to start thinking, fear is just that temporary illusion that gives you a warning sign. And, you're don't let the fear control your life, because on the other side, on the other side of fear is success, is possibilities, is all the amazing things we can do.
Yeah, I remember I like that distinction too, because it's like fear definitely has a place and a purpose, right? Exactly how you described. Um, but there are certain things that we don't necessarily need to apply it to. And
Mm.
so, and like when we think about going after our dreams and living the life that we desire, you can almost reframe that the fear is, this is something that I like learned from one of my coaches. They say that the fear is excitement on pause, because it's a similar kind of feeling that you can have sometimes. The fear that you sort of
Mhm.
feel in your body, kind of like the butterflies in your tummy, but can also like you get sort of some of the similar feelings with excitement as well. And so if you can kind of reframe it that, be like, okay, like I'm feeling something right now. I know this is a bit of fear, but it's not necessarily a warning of something bad, like putting my hand on the stove. This is actually excitement on pause, which tells me that I should, lean in and move forward and continue going after what I want, because it is kind of scary. But yeah, don't let it stop you, as opposed to when you do, yeah, put your hand on the stove and you're burning. Well, then yes, like take your hand off
Right.
because it's
Yeah.
telling you
Yeah.
that's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's sort of a difference between yeah, fear that is, yeah, warning you that something's wrong, and fear that's sort of um, wanting to keep you safe and keep you where you are, but actually isn't that something's wrong necessarily, that you need to continue moving forward.
Exactly. Yes. If I have time for one more tip, I'd also
Yes,
like to
yeah,
give
for sure.
one more tip that you can use, and that's really got to do with your self-talk. We talk to ourselves in sometimes such a horrible fashion. The way we talk to ourselves, we would never talk to someone else that way. And,
Mm.
part of my coaching, I've really looked at your subconscious and how the brain works. And like, if I were to say to you, don't think of a purple elephant, I'm sure everybody pictured a purple elephant in their mind first. And then they said, okay, I'm not going to think about it. But you can't not think about a purple elephant until you think of a purple elephant first. And our brain works the same way. So if I say, I don't want to fail, your brain, the first thing your brain thinks of is fail, 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 fail. If you
Right.
say, I'm dumb, or I don't want to be dumb, your brain hears dumb, dumb, dumb. So really practice positive talk. So instead of like saying, I don't want to fail, say, I want success. Instead of saying, I don't want to be dumb, say, I want to be smart. And because the brain focuses on the noun. So by
Mm.
saying all those positive and talking to yourself positively, your brain is going to hear those positive words, and it's going to see those. Your subconscious is going to see those. Your unconscious mind will see those as your reality and will help you get there.
Oh, I love that. I didn't realize that it focuses on the noun. That's so interesting. Yeah, it's a really good point. And so therefore, yeah, because it's not that it does the opposite of what you're saying. It just that it focuses on the noun. So therefore, if you make it
Right. Yeah, it
positive, it
doesn't hear the
focuses.
negative word.
Right, right, right. Yeah, that's very cool. Thank you for that tip. Yeah, positive self-talk is something I also love. And but yeah, we can be so yeah, conditioned with the negative self-talk. There's so much of it. And so that's the whole sort of, having awareness in which to change it. And I like that too, when you're talking about the life you desire, talk about it in that positive way, or something that you want, and who you want to be to get that, or when you're in that new life that you desire, and to always say it in a positive way, as opposed to being like, I don't want what I have right now. Talk about what you do want, and how, like,
Right.
the
Yeah,
desires
definitely
that you
go
do have.
towards what you want, not away from what you don't want.
That's exactly it. I love that. Yeah, move forward with what you want and not away from what you don't want. Oh, that's so great. That's super powerful. Thank you. So, tell us about, because you got this book coming out. Tell us about that.
I do. The book is called The Reinvention Mindset, and it was really fun to write, and I think whoever reads it will really enjoy it. It's a bit of a self-help book, but it's not one of those self-help books where you're reading and you're kind of like, oh, I have to take notes and I want it's a fun book. It's going to make you laugh, it might make you cry. There's stories, there's humor, there's a playlist in it. I share my playlist. There's even some fun pictures in it, and it's just what I did was when I after I lost my job and I decided I was writing a book, I kind of thought about what do I want to write about? And I thought of some of the people who inspired me. And they were people who had horrible, just unimaginable things happen to them. And they turned around and did something amazing. Because we all know the people who, something bad happens and they're stuck and they're just miserable and they're like focused, they spend the rest of their life saying, oh, I can't do this because this bad happened. But then we know the other people who something terrible happened to them and they're the most positive people and they do amazing things and they inspire other people. So I knew some of those people and I interviewed them for the book and I shared some of my stories. And I found that all those people that are positive and do amazing things had a lot of things in common. And I kind of put that together in the book and what they had in common. And I said, well, if we can all learn to think this way and act this way, we can do those amazing things too. So that's the concept of the book.
Wow. Yeah, it's so true. And sometimes you see these people and you're like, how are you like that? And how have you been able to, turn that around and just be so, like amazing afterwards? And it's really truly inspiring.
Yes, they are. Yeah, I have some inspiring people that I interviewed for the book, and like I said, it's written in a very conversational tone, so it's not something that's going to bog you down. I had some of my beta readers told me they, I only put the book down once to go to the bathroom or something. So it's kind of a fun read that'll draw you in, and like I said, it has fun stories in it, and I like to say I'm not just the founder, I'm a client. So I still go back to it and pull up a chapter. If I have a bad day, I'll pop up a chapter and read that one again or such. So
That's awesome. And so when is it available and where can people find it and what's it called and give us all the details?
it's called The Reinvention Mindset by Lori McDowell. It will be on Amazon any day now. I'm waiting for Amazon. It's already on Amazon. The ebook is available on Amazon, and the paperback will be available on Amazon June 1st. If you want the paperback and you can't wait, you can contact me and I can send you one. You can contact me at my email is lmcdowell at reimagine the letter u.net. And I have about 400 of them, so I can send you one but it'll be on Amazon. And for those who are not in the US, it's also on Kobo, which I believe is a Canadian version of Amazon or Canadian Kindle. The ebook will also be there, and then it'll be in bookstores eventually. It's not quite there yet, but Amazon, the ebook on Amazon, I'm actually going to have a special where it'll be $2.99 for like the first 30 days or so, because I want to get bestseller and I want to get as many people to have it as possible. And I want to get reviews. So if you read it or you read parts of it, I hope you'll go on and give me positive reviews on Amazon. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing all about that. So, wow, we went through so many things today, and a couple of things that stood out for me was that what we said at the beginning with like other people's thoughts or opinions of us, or none of your business, none of our business. We'll let it stay in their heads. And Lori shared some amazing tips today about how to really believe if when you want something and you're starting to go after it and you're looking at the life that you desire, to believe in the possibilities, believe that you can have what you want, and that knowing that fear is a temporary illusion. So continue moving towards your goals in spite of the fear. And as you're doing that, have positive self-talk, really practice it. And the amazing tip that with the positive self-talk, that actually your brain focuses on the noun. So as you're, striving toward this life you desire, to say it in a positive way and focus on the noun of the thing that you do want. And then, of course, Lori shared about a book that's coming out on June 1st, 2024, called The Reinvention Mindset, that will be available on Amazon. So, Lori, where can our listeners find you online? I know you mentioned your email, which I'll put in the show notes. How else can
Yes,
people find you?
my webpage is it's reimagineyou.net. So that's, and the U is the letter U, not the word. That's the name. My company is called Reimagine You Strategies. So reimagineyou.net. And you can find me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'll just look for Lori McDowell, and you'll see, the reinvention coach up there. And like I said, feel free to email me. If you want to have a conversation, you can book me at booklori.com. It's very simple. That's my calendar link. So book, LORI.com. I'd love to talk to any of you if you want to hear more about the book, my programs, my speaking engagements, or anything. I'm really excited. I love to speak. I just got one more. I did a TEDx talk just 2 weeks ago, and I can't wait
Nice.
for that to come on YouTube, because that was really fun. It was called A Simple Shift to Reinvent Your Reality. So I'm excited.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, so I'm
Welcome.
excited to have that too. So that will be on YouTube, on the TEDx YouTube page very soon as well.
Sweet. And I think you also had a free gift for us. It was
I
your
do have a free
reinvention
gift.
mindset bingo card and inspiration
Yeah.
playlist.
Yes, it's a bingo card. It's just a fun game that you can play with your friends, play with yourself. But it's a bingo card that just has, little, instead of numbers, it's got little squares that you can do to help reinvent your life and get you on that right path. And I give you, as I mentioned, my inspirational playlist is in the book, but I give you the Spotify link to have the full playlist. And then also, once you download the bingo card, you will actually get on my mailing list and get an opportunity to come to one of the master classes that I offer, which is it's called The Secrets to the Reinvention Mindset. And it takes you a little more, in depth on what is the process to really live the life you desire and change your life.
Oh, that all sounds amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that gift with us. Very cool. So, do you have any final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yes, I do. One of the things that I learned, starting off, after leaving corporate America and starting on my own business, which was my own company, and also from everyone I interviewed in the book, is that you're not alone, and that you don't need to do wherever you're trying to do whatever your goals. You don't have to do it alone, and that the smartest, most successful people in the world get help, ask for help, are inspired. They face, whether it's like the universe, the creator, God, a higher power, but you're not alone, and you don't have to be alone. And people just want to help you. There's so many people that want to help us succeed. So we really should, reach out to that and take advantage of that, because we're all so much better together. I mean, than we are as individuals.
That's so true. We are so much better together. Thank you so much for that, and for everything, all the tips that you've shared, and the gift that you're going and that you gave in the book, and telling us all about your book. Lori, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Lisa. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope it inspired you to live a more authentic life. I'd love your help in inspiring more people to live authentically, so please follow, rate, and leave a review so we can create a ripple effect of authenticity. Until next time, stay true to you, be bold, and thrive on your own terms. This is Elisa, signing off authentically.